In chapter 1143, a convoy of cars arrives at Wiltspoon Hotel, stopping a short distance from the school gate. Cameron, who is visually impaired, is accompanied by her bodyguard and Mrs. Newman, her mother. Mrs. Newman had prepared gifts for an unknown purpose. Cameron is instructed to walk straight for about 1,000 feet and find Serenity's bookstore, the first store on her left. Cameron, who attended Wiltspoon School but had to transfer to a special needs school after losing her sight, returns to the school after a decade. She recalls that setting up a store in front of the school was a privilege reserved for influential individuals. She wonders if Serenity's connection with the Yorks helped her open the bookstore there. As they approach the store, Mrs. Newman reminds Cameron sternly to beg for mercy on behalf of her sister Carrie. Cameron's parents had attempted to meet Zachary at York Corporation, but were refused. Fearing Zachary's anger, they refrained from contacting Serenity directly and instead sent Cameron to plead for forgiveness. Mrs. Newman emphasizes that regardless of Carrie's mistake, she is Cameron's biological sister and deserves mercy. Cameron agrees to apologize to Serenity and expresses her willingness to take responsibility for the feud between Serenity and Carrie. Mrs. Newman believes that if Cameron can convince Serenity to drop the charges against Carrie, her sister's life will be saved from ruin. Mrs. Newman plans to meet Carrie after her 15-day detention period, but worries that if Serenity presses charges, Carrie's future will be bleak. Mrs. Newman instructs Cameron to plead with Serenity persistently, even resorting to kneeling and begging, until she agrees to forgive Carrie. Mrs. Newman reminds Cameron that she is the cause of the issue, fueling her resentment towards her own daughter. Despite being Cameron's biological mother, Mrs. Newman harbors animosity towards her, recalling a past desire to harm her that was stopped by her current husband. Now, what do you think about the unfair treatment of Mrs. Newman towards Carrie and Cameron? How do you think Cameron will survive her situation?